I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's gray, and Wednesday's too. Thursdays, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love. Monday, you can fall apart. Tuesdays, Wednesdays break my heart. Thursdays doesn't even start. It's Friday, I'm in love. Saturday, wait. And Sundays always comes too late. A Friday never hesitate. I don't care if Monday's black. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, heart attack. Thursday, never looking back. It's Friday. I'm in love. Welcome to Friday Night Live, everybody. I really don't feel good. We're getting a
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.
Hello! Happy
Hey,
Friday!
it's Friday time, and it's Friday.
It's-
I'm in love.
KTV Friday. with the very fluid voiced Eugene.
Yeah, I need an auto-tune voice.
Start in one key and end anywhere else.
You know,
It must be the hantu.
John. You know what I like about this, right? Like,
What?
I have a reputation of not being able to sing. Like, ask all my ex-girlfriends down from secondary school all the way to now. I always try to serenade them. I think I can play extreme more than words, and I can, get the chicks. But I've always been told, do not ever quit my day job. Singing is not for me. But I felt on Friday Night Live, especially during the countdown, this is the best time to showcase the lack of talent because captive audience, right?
I think it's good because it helps to ward off the evil spirits.
Oh my god, that's a good one.
If I hear them, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already haunted. I'll just think, oh, already got ghosts. I'm going.
Got resident hantu here. Then we go somewhere
Yeah.
else.
No need me.
Yeah. Okay, John. Today
Hello, everybody.
you
wow,
have-
so many people.
you have
Yeah,
asked for this theme. You
I
said
have asked for this theme.
you said office hantu story.
Oh yes,
And-
yes.
I think today I might have overdone it. And I'll explain why. I have at first 4 very good confessions, and these confessions really came from people I interviewed, and more importantly, our own community member that you see the
Yeah.
name pop up every Friday. Names like Imagine Dragons, name like Mark Shipo.
Malayan, imagine Malayan.
Imagine Malayan.
Yep.
Um,
Mark Shipo, both of whom I hope are here tonight. Please shout out if you're here.
Maybe they are working overtime lah.
Oh. Okay.
And we also have Alwin.
Alwin.
Elvin, and not just Elvin, guys. Elvin and his wife Joey.
Alwin
Come
plus
on.
one.
Elvin
Wow,
plus
not
one.
bad. Not
So
bad.
we are going to have a lot of office hantu story over time. Just to let you guys know, I did not put any feature at 11:30 today, so we might overrun a little bit. Might.
So we'll be going on until tomorrow, lah, basically.
Well, I'll try to end at 12 latest lah. 12. Okay.
Someone was just sharing that they are now at work alone. Who's that?
Exeral.
AMXRVL.
New name.
is it?
I've not seen the name before.
Yeah, hi if you're new, and oh dear if you're at work. Okay.
Today is a perfect episode for you.
Yeah, but don't worry, okay? Anything wrong, just think of Eugene singing and you'll be safe. Okay.
Poppy. Okay. So let us bring on our very esteemed guest of tonight. His name is Alwin, not Elvin, Alwin.
Alwin.
Because this Alwin will win. Hey,
Hey!
Alwin.
Hi.
Alamak, what happened to him?
Welcome to
Get a
Friday
minute.
Night Live.
Nah.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do they out there need to know very urgently about you?
What do they need to know?
Hmm.
I would say whether got hantu or no hantu,
Hmm?
my sanity is the most important thing.
That's why you see, notice the poster today under the description for Alvin, right? Is that guy who, let me see what it says. It says, guys who tells himself there must be a rational explanation.
Okay, so at least
Yeah.
we know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay,
Straight off the
that's
bat,
good.
this is Team Rational representative.
Not
representative.
really
No
rational.
lah. He's not. He's in between. He's rational hantu.
It's the team
rational
pretend buat
hyphen.
bodoh that there's no
But bodoh, I survived through the night.
Team act blur lah. Team act blur.
blur.
Team act blur.
Correct.
I totally approve of that. I think that's a very wise
God.
wise policy to take.
What did they say, army, right? Act blur, live longer, right?
Correct.
Okay. So we'll get a chance to talk to Alwin a little bit more later and find out more about why he's here and what he's gone through. Oh, my camera has
happened?
dropped.
See
Ah,
hantu push.
Hantu push. It's my cat. Go away, cat.
Okay.
Go away. Okay,
Everybody, welcome to the show. I know you guys are there, and I can see all your names. Do forgive us if we're not going to read out the names one by one today, because we really have a lot of stories to share with you guys, and we're excited to get the stories on the road.
Yeah.
But guys know who you are. Thank you so much for joining us week after week. And for those of you who have joined us in a focus group and given us your feedback, I have taken all of them into consideration. I'll tell you more about Patreon later on. But for now, shall we go to the first confession for tonight?
Yes. Come. First confession, Eugene. Take it away.
Oh, wait. First confession is dangerous over time. And this one is confession by Mark Shipo.
Yeah.
Allah. Hey. Is there? Okay. Hey, lagging, is it? Can you hear me not? Can Hey. Dangerous Overtime, confession by Mark Shipo. Let me move this here. The company I work for is situated in one of the industrial estates in Ang Mo Kio. Usually by 6 p.m., most of the other offices around the area would close for the day, and the place can get very quiet. I was rushing for a deadline, so I stayed back to finish up my prep for an event the following day. My office space is moderate in size, with an open cubicle concept where each desk is divided by an old-fashioned partition that provides some form of privacy to the employees. My desk was situated somewhere in the middle of the office, and a few cubicles down was the accountant's desk. Lily was a type of slightly beyond middle-aged woman who types with one finger. And the clicks of a keyboard is very distinct. Lily is also known to live punctually on the dot. So I was a bit surprised when I heard the clicking sound on her keyboard coming from her cubicle. I thought to myself, okay lah, maybe she also got things to do and she probably came back into the office without me noticing. I called out to her, Lily, working late today? But there was no reply. I called out to her again, louder this time. Lily! Lily! Thinking that maybe she didn't hear me the first time. Then the clicking sound stopped. I stood up, looked over the partition from my cubicle, but from where I was standing, there was no way to see who was in Lily's cubicle if the person was seated. So I walked over to see. There was nobody at her desk. Her computer was turned off and everything looked tidy. I walked back to my cubicle and rationalized with myself that it's probably my imagination. Then I heard the noises again. This time, it was the sound of paper shuffling and the sound of ring binder file opening and closing. The sound is very distinct, sharp, and piercing. This time, I didn't go over. I just hunkered down behind my table and contemplated if I should just leave the office. But I think not finishing my work will have more terrible consequences than being in the same room with whatever this was. Then the sound moved out of the cubicle to where the metal cupboard was. This was where Lily usually placed her documents. There were loud thuds coming from within it. And because it was a quiet office, the sound reverberated through the entire place. From where I was, I could see the cupboard, and there was no one. Maybe it's just a lizard, I thought to myself. A giant lizard walked across the keyboard, back and forth, turned the pages, opened the file, and now it has leapt to the cupboard. And just then, the notice board that hung on the wall beside the cupboard fell with a loud sound. Whoever did that, I'm sure it wasn't a lizard. Maybe this was a sign that I shouldn't be here at all. So before I left, I took photo of the cubicle and the fallen notice board. And for me, this is just to be able to verify my experience if the next day I come back and everything is okay. And no one believed what I had encountered. So yeah, running outside of this warehouse type building is also scary because it's very dark and it's all this spiral staircase down, spiral car park all the way down. I did not take the lift because it was scary. And this other incident that happened in this place that I thought to myself, could this be connected or not? Because a few weeks before this particular incident, my phone Siri just activated itself and called me Marcus. Why this is strange for me is, even though my Marcus is my birth name, I've only been using Mark in all my social interactions. There's no Marcus in my phone. So, was this a Siri coincidental glitch or a spirit in my phone trying to make contact?
Marcus. Okay. Wow, many things to say. All right. So let's let our guest kick off the discussion. All right. Tell us, Alwin, what do you think is going on?
Well, we can say, there's a high possibly really got hantu. But, if I were in his place, I would deny at that moment. I would really deny.
So how would you deny? What is your rationalization of this?
Okay. The first thing is, if I got work to do and I acknowledge there's a hantu, okay, there's no way I can stay already. Tapao and go home already. No need to do anything already. Don't deny lah. Anything you can say. The wind. Maybe you check out already, dreaming. Anything just to get your things done, and then after that, then you go off already, then you think about it.
Okay. I mean, I think to a certain extent, Mark was trying to do that, right? He had a
Yes.
lizard. He had a lizard in his mind,
Yeah.
right? And he was thinking it was something that was traveling from keyboard to the document to the thing, and only when the notice board dropped, then he thought, okay, it's a very big lizard, right? Someone was saying a monitor lizard, so okay, maybe not, huh? And that's when I guess his attempt to rationalize broke down, lah, because the lizard kept getting bigger and bigger, right? But if this was you, if you were in Marcus's shoes, what would your scientific rationalization be? Would it also be a lizard?
No, I won't say scientific. Most
Okay.
probably will be like, okay, maybe some keyboard problem, spoiled keyboard, cabinet, somebody never put the file properly, just nice drop. Then after that, the notice board drop already. I'll blame the company, say why so cheapo, never use 3M. Anything. Okay, so long as I can quickly finish my thing and get out of there.
Actually, I always think that being a Singaporean, right, you have an automatic defense against this type of supernatural thing because number one, complain. The moment something go wrong, who should I complain to? Who should I scold? Scold security, scold admins, scold office manager, that gives you a sort of courage, right?
Correct.
If you can take offense, it's also defense, right? So that's kind of useful. But I tell you personally, which is the moment where I will have freaked out. It's not when I hear the typing. It's when I shout at what's her name? Lily, right? When I shout at Lily and she doesn't reply, I'm out already. 100% I'm out. Because to me that is the ultimate test. It's like, is there someone there or not? No, there's no one there. Okay, I'm getting out of here.
Would you not even want to check? Like walk over and see?
No, I won't. I tell you, I won't even stand up. Okay, the cubicle go to the certain height, right? I will just keep squatting below that height, pack up my things, and then just crouch my way out. Using the cubicles for safety.
Yeah. But Mark did say that it'll be terrible consequences tomorrow if you don't finish his work. So between the
work from home. Work from home. I tell you, I could not do. I've never worked in a sort of cubicle type office environment, but I've been in many, and I think that sort of tall cubicle thing is terrifying. It's really terrifying, and I think it's very tempting if you are hantu to come and play nuisance, which is what some of the comments have been saying, right? There have been, some are saying toyol, some are saying hantu playing pranks, So Eugene, what do you think is going on?
So Eugene thinks that I wouldn't be so afraid in that situation. Like
you would not, of course.
I'll walk you guys through the thought process, right? When I'm there. I sit there, I will assume Lily was there, right? Like, strange, why would Lily be here? Call Lily, bolang, right?
Yeah.
I may just walk over to take a look. I need to see to believe. But at the same time, some of the things that in this story jumped out at me is the typing sound is the same. The ring binder, everything's the same. Right? So two things come to mind. One, I'm just going to put this out there and quickly just shove it away as extraterrestrial. Because all these have been done. Okay, Lily is in accounts. And from how he's describing Lily, the typing one finger thing, I think she's there for the last 35 years doing the same thing over and over again. There's every chance that her energy, the Lily's energy, is embedded in the space-time around her. And what Mark was listening to, because it's overtime, he's rushing for deadline, maybe he's a bit has a little bit of anxiety, a little bit, tuned to that frequency. And then he start to hear the same sound patterns that Lily has been going through, from the keyboard to the paper to the file to the cabinet, over and over again.
Okay.
But what I cannot explain with that theory is the falling down of the board. And at this point, maybe I can go with Alwin here and say, never use 3M, right? That's why the thing fall down. Maybe it's two separate things. Not even the board falling down is just purely coincidental. Right place, right time. Okay, that's option A. I'm just shoving that. What I think is more likely case is, could Lily have a toyol or a spirit servant who come back to office after our office hours to help her do her work? That's why Lily never do OT one. Realize? Lily always go back 6 o'clock, 5:59 ready with the bag already. She walks out the door. Because at night, Lily will feed the toyo with her tampon and everything because I assume she's single and living alone with cats.
So terrible
So
to Lily.
at night, the
Okay.
spirit will come back and then do the work. Or maybe Lily is just so, workaholic. She go home, she take a nap, then she astral travel back to office and do work.
I can buy that. I
Ah.
totally buy the astro
Mm.
traveling Lily. Okay. I think it's a little bit harder for okay lah. I mean, I think a Toyo will be able to type better than Lily lah. You know, it's really quite sad if you type one finger and then you go and get a spirit, a supernatural entity to do your work for you, and they can't do better than that. Right? I'm not swanning people who type one finger. I also type one finger. Okay. But we must acknowledge we are not the fastest. No, actually, the first thought that would cross my mind, right, if I was Mark Shippo there and I experienced this thing and then I don't hear Lily responding, my first thought will be, oh no, something happened to Lily.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh.
And that's her coming back as in spirit form. So I would call Lily and go, are you okay?
Oh my,
You
you're
know,
right.
and expecting to hear the family going, you didn't hear about the accident, or something, right? That would be my first thought. Since whatever it is has clearly tried to identify itself as Lily, not anyone else in the office, right? There are several cubicles between Mark and Lily. Why not someone else? It's specifically Lily, right? So that also for me removes the idea of a random thing, right? Because it's obviously targeted. It's linked to Lily, right? Could it be one of those doppelganger type situations? And we have some of those possibilities coming up later on in other confessions as well, right? And it happened in my army camp as well. There was always this type of thing happening, and they will always choose someone, whatever the entity is. Today's topic is Lily, and then they pick someone to emulate. So I don't know, could be that, right? But I mean, for me, okay, I love this idea that he's repeating for himself the sounds of Lily working. I'm actually very interested in that, because I think when you're working alone and you're feeling tired and you're feeling stressed, your mind will do things to sort of calm you, right? To make things seem normal. And it's not unusual to imagine that the office is alive and full of people rather than the office is empty and dead and you are alone. In terms of peace of mind, right? It's so much nicer. That's why we play radio in the office. We do that kind of stuff because it's the white noise effect, right? So I don't know why Lily's typing could be Mark's white noise effect, because it's the most recurrent sound. Mark, if you're out there, ask yourself, right? Is that the most noticeable, soothing, slightly erotic? I don't know, man. But but does this sound represent a normal day for you in the office? And maybe that's why your mind conjured up that sound. It could have been something else tapping, but his mind said, yeah, that sounds like Lily, and then your conscious mind went, wait a minute, there shouldn't be a Lily. So you own self scare own self lah. Right? Your subconscious is listening to white noise. Your conscious is thinking you are being haunted.
Okay, very good one. Then what about maybe this one, the Siri going. Okay, I don't know whether Siri go. That's my own imagination lah. It could just be Marcus, right? So, but Siri calling him that, what, coincidental or hantu in a place that is reputed to be haunted?
Oh, did that happen also at work?
At
Oh,
work.
yes, it did happen at work. Yes, because his phone was on the table and it happened. Okay. So I have an opinion.
Okay.
I have an opinion. I don't think it's connected. But Alwin, you give your opinion first. What would you say if the phone suddenly called you a name that you do not use?
That one is very hard to say. Because generally, if you want to say hantu, how the hantu will know? It's like macam they go check your IC, is it?
They can, IC. Yeah. I think they go ICA and they know your all your details lah.
Yeah. Then, but it could be, it could be some sort of, maybe he has some registration or whatever they has done on the phone. Then he put in his full name or something like that. And so it just stuck down there, unknowingly registered.
Yeah, that was actually my thought also, right? And when you're registering for these accounts, that name you use is not likely to be the name you use with your friends, right?
Correct.
It will be the official one.
Official name.
Yeah, so you must ask whether the phone company knows your details, and that's why Siri knows their details, right? Siri is not a hantu; she is a big brother watching you, right? But I think Eugene has a better theory. He's smiling like that.
No,
what does Eugene think?
I have a non-hantu theory.
What?
Not even connected to this. Okay, so I think okay. So let me get to the Siri part first, and I'll tell you why I was
Okay.
smiling later.
Okay.
I believe, right? So when just now when Alvin said, "How does the hantu know your name?" Because hantu read minds. They know you by reading your mind. And hantu in phones, although not many people have been talking about that, but I have spoken to some people, and those people have cited strange incidences with their phone that they cannot explain, and they didn't tell anyone because they feel telling people that a hantu just texted them on WhatsApp is ridiculous. I personally have had hantu texting me on my BlackBerry Messenger. And I know that for a fact because the phone was in front of me. I was kneeling down in front of a prayer. I received a to-do. I check. It says, "Get out now." Sent by the person who was literally kneeling down beside me. We went out of the room. We checked her phone. No message. I opened my Messenger again. Corrupted. But she and I both saw that message because I saw the message coming in. I looked at it and I showed it to her. Your name plus get out now. So glitch at that particular time when we're doing some exorcism thing. I don't know, man. That's I tend to think phones generally have a mind of its own. You all think about this technology thing. You just buy into it. That people say, "Oh, it's a tech, it's a chip." What makes you think that chip maybe doesn't have some form of connection to the underworld? You know, and then they call it technology. Okay, so I digress a bit.
If there was that, they'll be charging you more for it. Okay, that will not come free.
They call it science. Okay.
Yeah.
Why I was smiling was this is many years ago. I was out with this. She's a DJ now. Won't tell you who. And that time she just started her DJ career. And so we went out for dinner, and she said, "Oh no, let me buy a drink. Let me pick up the tab." And then so she gave the guy the card, and then the guy came back and, "Miss so and so, here's your card." And she goes like, "Oh, you know me?" The guy goes like, "Yeah, it's on the card." I never ever forget that date. I was like, okay, let's never bring this up ever.
Yes, let's never bring it up. Let's just talk about it on Friday Night Live.
No names mentioned.
Okay, Anna Wong just shared that she had a similar experience at Shaw House office where she would hear typing sounds and paper flipping. And also worse, daytime can hear people running when the corridor is empty on a Saturday morning. So is this something that's common in offices? You know? Or is it just that hantu are very thrilled by keyboards? It's like so fun. Everywhere you go,
you guys should text us in the comment section if you guys have anything, personal experience or anything. We just want to hear from you guys if whatever the stories that we shared today is indeed something common that a lot of people have been facing.
Because this keyboard thing, right? So what happened in my army camp? I was from Beach Road Camp, right, which is now the South Beach development, right? And one of the oldest officers, which is still standing. Well, they tore down the office part, but the building is still there. Used to have a electric typewriter. You know, back when they had those electronic typewriters, right? They have one LCD screen, and it would type on its own quite confidently. Not one finger. This one got take course one, right? Secretarial course. It would type very confidently, but no words would appear on the LED. And when they tried to put paper inside to trick the ghost into letting the message be seen, it will stop. But then when no one's looking or no one's paying attention, it was just type. Yeah, just one particular typewriter. So that was one of those things that was happening. And this was in an army office, right? So yeah, we don't know. What is it about typewriters that get the ghost so excited?
Yeah. Okay. We got a lot of confessions tonight. Some of them may be overlapping. I think we can go to the next one. What do you think, John?
Yeah. We're going from technology to more technology. Yeah.
Alvin, are you ready? This is your confession.
No, this is mine.
John.
Yes.
John. Okay, John, this is yours. This confession is given to me by Anne, and it happened right like 5 minutes before that, and she excitedly WhatsApp me. It's, "Hey, Eugene, got hantu story for you happening right now." So I was chatting with her. She gave me pictures and everything. So this one is legit. Like, I've seen the picture of the office. Obviously, I cannot share with you. But she was like, "This is what happened. This is what happened. This is the window. This is everything." So I had a very good look of the office, and I tried to be as descriptive as I can in the story. So hopefully that comes across to you guys. You can visualize it. But this title is called "Someone at the Door." John, please lend us your voice.
Confession by Anne. We have moved into our newly renovated office unit located in an old building since June 2022 at the Central Business District area. The location is good, food is fine. There were a few occasions we encountered stuff we could not explain in this office, but usually we just talk it off and laugh it off. This is how we deal with the fear of the supernatural. Humor. However, today something extremely weird happened. Lunch hour in the CBD can get quite crazy, and I didn't feel like squeezing with the crowd, so I decided to tapao my lunch back to office. The others in the office had already left for lunch, and the only other person was the admin girl. She too decided to tapao food back to the office. She was having her lunch in the pantry, while I sat at my desk watching Netflix and eating. The main doorbell rang. I glanced at the intercom by my desk to see who was at the door. I pressed the unlock button on the panel, but it wouldn't work. The door remained locked. I pressed the intercom and called out to whoever it was outside, but there was no answer. And then something moved into view on the camera on the intercom panel. For a split second, I saw a black face in full view of the camera, and then it moved away quickly. I thought to myself, maybe someone short was trying to show his face on the camera. From the angle the face moved, it felt like someone short, around my own height. Okay, coming now, I said to the intercom speaker. I hurried to open the door, but saw no one outside. Puzzled, I stepped outside into the lobby, looked around, checked the stairwell, but there was absolutely no one around. The lifts were stationary, so whoever it was had not taken the lift either. The door to the stairwell was heavy and noisy. If anyone had gone that way, I would have heard the door or at least seen the door closing. The lobby is very small, and the way the camera is positioned, I can see the entire lobby. Also, our main door is made of see-through glass. From the time I left my desk to walk to the main door, whoever I had seen from the camera should be directly in my line of sight. At this point, I felt a tingling sensation down my spine. It was as if my unconscious was trying to warn me of something. I went back into the office and sat down. Minutes later, another colleague came back from lunch, and I asked if she had seen anyone leaving the office building, and she confirmed she hadn't. I tried the door unlocking mechanism again, and this time it was working fine. So what was it that I saw that was trying to come in? Jang, jang, jang. Wow, CCTVs are scary. Okay. All right. So, come, Alwin, you kick us off. What was going on? What did she see, man? Or she didn't see anything?
It could be some, glitch in the system,
Ah.
glitch in the matrix, you know, or sometimes there are things with cameras in which when dust particles are too close and all those kind of things. So you will see something like maybe faces and all that. Like for my own personal experience was, CCTV camera in a exhibition booth. They say that, hey, how come got like those scream 2, that kind of face? It's like, no, went up there is somebody's fingerprint.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on
But
the
this one
camera
was
lens.
moving, leh. It came into frame and then it left.
Yeah,
So
it could be a dust particle.
Wow.
There's a lot of this
Mm.
sort of explanation. And
Wow.
if I were a guest down there, I would say, okay, hantu, I'm not coming back. But if I have to work there every day, I definitely will never acknowledge. Even if really, really got hantu, I'll never acknowledge got hantu.
Hey, I mean, you never thought about making friends with the hantu, man?
Making friends, that's the problem, you see. Hey, one become two, two become three. Then when is the time you find that you can say enough is enough. Too many already.
Wow. Okay lah. If you're very confident that you are very good at making friends with hantu, then you better not start.
Maybe Eugene can try.
No.
Wow.
Actually, that's the advice that my grandma. Okay, so whatever Alvin is saying is a reminiscence of my grandma's advice as well. Ignore them. I don't know whether you guys, all the regulars from before, remember my four-step process of how to deal with hantu. First is you ignore. Always ignore them. Cannot ignore them, then step 2, you escalate. You tell them nicely, please don't disturb me. We're going to be here to work on it. They still disturb you. You escalate from 2 to 3. You vulgarity them. You show aggression. You scold them. Be the more alpha. If they start throwing things around, poltergeist activity happen. Footsteps appear in front of powder in front of you. Go to stage 4. Sorry, paiseh, sorry. Yeah. So Alvin has used stage 1 and it works for him. I feel sometimes, especially when I'm working and theater, especially John, right? You know, you're doing theater and everything. So you're there for 2-3 months, rehearsal and all. I choose to put like, the biscuit with the sugar thing on top.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll put like a packet. I'll say, okay, this is for you, or 3 incense for the hiati. I say, this is for you, okay, you don't can't disturb me, okay? Give you all. So I acknowledge their presence, I give them a gift, and then they just leave me alone.
But
Protection
then,
money first.
but you're already contradicting your rules. What? You're not ignoring them. What? You are actually ritualizing them and giving
Yeah.
them authority.
No,
Right?
No.
That
That
is
one is not. It's
that
not.
is that is our usual, right? Like every time we say you go to a hotel, you knock on the door. You are actually not only acknowledging them, but you are acknowledging that they have prior right to this place, and you are borrowing.
correct. I mean,
That's always been your policy.
I
How
think
to ignore like that?
no, correct. Last time, so my grandma tell me ignore, but I think after doing supernatural confessions, talking about hantu, I think it's a
Ah,
bit hypocritical if I say let's ignore you are not there, right? It doesn't exist. I can no longer go the way of Alwin and go like, I think it's just the this cold front and that TikTok sound. It must be just the wind. I can no longer have that mind of it. Even if I try to think and ignore them, the ghosts that we believe can read the mind and go like, aha, you know I'm here.
you mentioned theater, right? And our tradition is always begin by acknowledging, right, that there must be spirits here, and the spirits are part of what's going on here, part of the energy. And they'll be watching your show, right? They're like the audience that never buy ticket one, right? They got season ticket, and you want them on your side, and if possible, you want them to support you, bless you, whatever, right? So you do your best to appease. I think that's always in Asia, probably I feel what's safer is appease first,
Yeah.
right? And then if anything go wrong, call for Big Brother to help you. Right? Do not scold them, please. All right, because you already give offering, then you want to scold them is cannot lah. You're asking for battle lah. So step 1 appease, step 2 run for help. But on the other hand, I think there is a very important point to be made about, I think, Alwin's policy of maintaining your own sanity first, right? If it's a place that you need to work, right, then make peace with yourself first rather than make peace with them.
Correct.
Right? Yeah, you need to carry on working. You need to cope, right? And I think that's a very rational thing. And I think if it works, then that's always the best solution, lah, right? So I don't know, man. I mean, okay, to me, this CCTV thing, it could be because it was just a glimpse, right? Did she tell you more about the details of the face?
No, it was just like she saw something come up, like as if because the camera is here, right? So it's like something come up.
But
She saw enough of features to recognize it's a person.
are you sure she saw enough features? Sure.
She saw a face lah.
It's a black face, which means you saw a black shape lah, basically.
Can be Indian man, right?
Or is it a shadow? It's different. I don't know what you mean by black. It's not a dark skin, It's not a dark skin face, Okay, so I'm very curious what her very brief 2-word explanation can lead to. Okay. Was it a shadow figure? That's a whole other direction this could go in, or it could just be a cat, coming close. Or is it a normal face, but because when you're so close to the CCTV, there's no light, right? So the closer you get to the screen, the darker your face will appear. So
yeah,
and yeah.
And are you here? Because I think you might be here. Can you help me out with this? Yeah.
More info needed.
What kind of black face is this? Is it the Dali black face? Is it a shadow face? Is it a Olang black face? Which kind of black face?
Or were there features, right? Were there features? Because she didn't mention eyes, for example, which is usually one of the things that people notice first, right? Is I saw 2 eyes staring at me, Yeah. So what made you think it was a face? Maybe Stay is saying maybe someone wear black mask. Maybe it was a armed robber with a ski mask.
Okay lah, but even let's say lah.
Okay.
Let's say
it's saying
sorry, go ahead.
And says no eyes, total black. So it's a shape lah. It's a roundish face shape, right? So to me, okay, that makes it a little bit different, right? Yeah, even with shadow figures, we've had eyes. What, remember? A couple of confessions ago, we had a whole hotel room full of shadow figures who all can look at her, stare at her. So this could be a totally different thing. Tiny round face, she says. Ah, interesting. Where does this go? I'm very curious. Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to read out. Alvin, I'm going to give you some time to think. I got some comments on this story as well. I'm going to add my 2 cents worth to it. But I just want to read out some comments from the community. Night Owl says, when I'm alone in office, I feel very stressed. My mind run wild all the time. Once my Angmo boss came to the office without me knowing, and he suddenly appeared right in front of my desk. Freaked me out. I scream. Angmo have pale complexion, can be creepy. Jujubi Jumi says, I will never acknowledge. I also don't knock on the hotel room door.
You live dangerously. Okay.
Donny Darwin AJC says, yep, I ignore them. I even ignore humans when I'm walking. And thank you, Chua Elaine. Thank you for that donation.
Thank you.
It's a good point, John.
Yeah.
Can playback. No playback, I think, this one. No recording.
Yeah, because it's okay. It's I guess CCTV may not be the actual correct term, right? It's just the intercom camera lah.
Yes.
Yeah, and they are quite lousy in resolution, right?
Very.
And they do usually do a fisheye lens, right? So you can see a wider scope. So they are also quite distorting.
Yeah.
Right.
So
usually.
That being said, like after all we hear about the rational side of things, right? So there are a few things that jump out at me. Now let's put it this way. If my own home has the door camera as well.
Okay.
If my own home has weird things appearing in front of my camera, I'm not going to be so brave and try to confront it and try to annoy it, right? I may have a different approach, but some of the things that she said in this story is, if it was a person, so what was the one that ding dong? If it was a dust particle, like what Alvin said, it will not trigger the doorbell unless you tell me dust particle creates some form of EMF pattern that tripped the electronic cable and ding dong happened. Okay, if you're going that far. But how did the doorbell happen? Black thing, okay, maybe we can discount it because she said there's no features. It could have been many things. I get that. Maybe a fly landed on it, right? She couldn't open the door. When she came back later, she could. But at that point in time, everything just failed. And if you know about paranormal, the lore of the paranormal law is that when spirits are around, electronics malfunction. And if her own standalone experience can be debunked, what about the ones where her colleague saw a reflection in the office? What about the landlord being very elusive when asking about the history of the place? So when you put all these things together,
how come we don't know these facts?
Oh, this was extra stuff that I know lah.
Like that one. Why you keep secrets? Okay.
Was it not in there? No, it's there.
No,
right?
we don't know about the boss. We don't know about the colleagues.
No, not in that. God lah. He says, maybe you never read that page. When I start, your last line was what? What? Oh, so what was it that I saw that tried to come in, right? That's your last line.
Yeah.
You scroll down one more page. When I started asking around if anyone else had any.
Oh, okay. I left out a page. Oh no, that's my fault. Okay.
Okay, you go take this.
Let me fill in the page. Okay, this is the information that was missing. Okay, when I started asking around if anyone else had similar encounters, I found out that another male colleague had seen a ghostly figure staring at him from opposite the tinted window a few months back. He had just arrived at the office around 7 a.m. and was the only one there. Then he confessed that there was another incident, and this time I was actually there with him. He thought he had seen a white figure resembling my boss entering my boss's room. I was in another part of the office arranging some documents, and he had shouted my name urgently. I stopped what I was doing and went over immediately. He said, nothing, and walked away. He didn't want to frighten me, so he just brushed it aside and kept the incident to himself. We asked the building management if there were any such incidents, but he was tight-lipped and refused to share any stories about the building. Okay. That does change the look of
Now, right? So it's no longer just
It's a pattern.
Yes. So I get it. If there's nothing else, no recurring, is the one time it happened to end and never more glitch lah. But when you have a history, the office has some recurring things.
Mm.
Yes, I agree with Alvin. If it doesn't escalate beyond just ting tong, sure, bobodo lah, can carry on being bobodo mah. But when you start to see things moving around, or when poltergeist activity happen, or when scratches happen, recurring dreams, I think that becomes a bit hard to ignore. But as of now, I think this entity isn't there to harm you. They just want you to know that they are around.
I mean, there's a strong parallel here, right? So this bit, which I conveniently forgot to mention, right? So this bit, the seeing the white figure of the boss entering his office, right? That one, right? It's very much like another thing that happened in my camp and in my own office. This was my own office in Beach Road Camp, right? My colleague came early. He always comes early to defrag the computer. Last time computer must defrag one, right? So he will come in early before anyone else and he will just turn on and start the process. Then he will sit there with one light on and then read book, right? So one time he was doing that early in the morning and suddenly he heard the S1's voice calling his name, right? Saying, Faisal, come here, right? So he turned to look at S1's office. S1's office on top got the mosquito netting. So you can see if there's a light, but there was no light on. So he started thinking, why is S1 sitting in the dark calling me to come here? Either it's going to get very kinky or something is going on, right? So he freaked out. He rang the guardhouse and he said, is my S1 in? Have you seen him at the guardhouse? He said, no, no one's in except you. And so he jabot and then he go and hide at the guardhouse until the actual S1 came. But he didn't tell the S1 anything. So clearly someone in there was also, like the ghost that copied Lily, right? Like the ghost that copied her boss here, right? There is clearly a pattern across offices of someone who likes to mimic, right? What is this thing? What entities do we know that like to do this? They are so observant. They are such good actors. They can mimic voices. They notice your behavior, but then they forget to turn on light, So what's going on? I'm very curious. Is there some major conspiracy? Is this how the Ministry of Manpower, increases our productivity? They employ ghosts to go to every office, one hantu, so that when people take MC, you take that person's job and you do. Okay, Lily go home, you be Lily. S1 not here, you be S1. I don't know. I'm very curious. If you've had other experiences of this copycat behavior, guys, please share. Please tell us all about it. Let's try to figure it out, man.
Yeah. Going to the comment section again, Joe Keck is asking, why do they want to do that? I would like to ask our host as well for their hypothesis of why do you think this mimics or doppelganger wants to do that? Rai says, I agree with Eugene. At my old workplace where some people got possessed, my MP3 player was fully charged. Minutes later, the battery was flat. And at my old workplace where some people got possessed, my MP3 player was fully charged. Minutes later, battery was flat, right? That's what you said. And that happens to camera as well when you do investigation. That happens to phone as well when you go to these kind of dirty places and suddenly just battery dies. I remember a CD player as well when I was walking under a bridge. This is when I was in my teenage years with a 6-second ESP anti-shock. Very big deal.
Yeah.
Walk past that bridge and it will always keep skipping. Battery will fall flat and stuff. But only that part, nowhere else.
Wow.
Saravanan says, with these new facts, he's going with hantu! Capital letters.
Okay.
GCK86 says, they can copy anyone. If your colleague on leave today, suddenly you see them today with no reaction. Yeah. So these mimics have no reaction.
Yeah. 131 2 3 4 1314 Iceman say my S1 was a madam. If I hear her voice, I will charge into the room. Okay, yeah. That's a whole other confession. That's a different night. Hey, Evan Kwa says, John, I was in the same camp. Oh, okay. We must share stories, Evan. Okay. My Beach Road camp was notoriously haunted. Every office also got things on.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of offices that are haunted, right? You know why I bring Alvin here today? Place he work is legit confirm haunted. I know. I most of it that what he's going to say today, I will actually edit it into a proper confession because I had a almost 70 to 80 minutes conversation with him about the confession that he has to share with us. But I wanted him to share some really good ones about things that happened in his workplace, things that he heard. And there's one particular incident where uh, it happened to him. He ran around looking for people, and there were nobody around. It was as if he got teleported.
Wow, I want to hear.
And even then, he
Please
tell you
share.
he got rational explanation for that.
Okay, please share, Alwin.
Well, okay. So that story happened inside the wax museum.
Oh,
So yeah, I happened to watch one of the old episodes with my wife.
Ah.
So this other guy was talking about the wax museum and Sentosa.
Sito.
So yeah. So what happened was this memory has actually been, kept in a box, thrown into the memory, and then after that, try and don't think about it kind of thing.
okay.
Yeah. So my company that I was with then were the so-called, the official contractor builder thingy for wax museum. So we actually go back.
This one is the Madame Tussauds, is it that one?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Ooh, okay. How?
The India together with images of Singapore.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So so that time it was already after the opening already. So we are doing our DLP period. So the warranty, then customer anything not happy, we need to go back and service the place. So what happened was there is already quite a number of incidents already. So for me at that point in time and my own sanity sake, I was like, I still have to come back here, always 10:30 and later, and all the way past the witching hour. So you can try to deny, you can try to pretend, give whatever excuse you can for whatever that happened. You just cling on to it, like life rough like that. So what happened was that one that Eugene mentioned, Twilight Zone, was one of the worst incident. So I was walking from one part of the museum to the other part. So I was taking this shortcut. So this shortcut already has quite a few weird things happening. So a few times already, so I already try and ignore, try and pretend nothing happened. So what happens was I was walking through the same spot again. Okay. Same thing happened. I smell the incense smell in the wax museum. There's not supposed to be anybody lighting incense stick inside. Ignore. Then I felt this, like a chill wave. You open those kind of ice box, ice room, and then you walk in, suddenly that whole chill comes hitting you in the face. Okay, so it's this chill wave, it goes through you, and then it's not like the normal where you feel cold outside, then you don't feel cold inside. It's the cold that goes into the core. So when that happened, I was like, hey, how come the aircon so cold? First thought. Then the next thing is suddenly you have this irrational fear. You don't know what is happening. You just have this very, very strong fear. It's like something is wrong. You want to punch somebody, you want to strangle somebody, kind of fear, or run as fast as you can. Then you look around, you don't see. Then the more you look around, the more frightened you get. Then okay, so the only other thing that I can do, because I can't see anything to whack, so the only thing I can do is run. So I started running, then I know, the other side, my guys are working on somewhere near the Terminator exhibit there. So I was running through the shortcut and then come down from second floor. That's the fear is those kind of like, I would say, shit your pants kind of fear. I've never felt any kind of fear like that before in my life.
John Lim calls it the KNNBCCB feeling.
So the strange thing was, well, you're running towards it, like hope, got human. I reached that area. Okay. So when I reach the area, I see the things are down there, the tools are down there, the ladder down there, whatever down there. I don't see anyone. I was like, hey, where the hell are my guys? How come they do halfway stop already? Is it break time already, or they go outside for a smoke or whatever it is? So it's like I was running around that level 1 area, near the gift shop, near the ticket counter. It was like, hey, where the hell are my guys? You know, the kind of thing is like you just want to find a living human being and just look at them and say, okay,
Yep. Yep.
we are still alive. That kind of thing. So cannot find. The only other thing that came to my mind is that, okay, go out the side door, go to the back where the smoking corner is. Maybe my guys are there. Maybe they go take 5. So run out already, push open the door, go to the corner there, nobody. Then, yeah, so cannot find anyone. So for me, it was like, the mind is just like, okay, never mind, cannot find anyone, right? Maybe you just squat down here, take out your cigarette, take 5,
Act normal. Act
relax,
normal.
act normal. Okay, after 5 minutes, I walked back in, went back to the same Terminator area where the Terminator wax statue is. My guys are all down there working. Then I asked, hey, where you all go? You all went toilet? They say, no, we have been around here. I said, just now I run by, why cannot see you all? I thought you all go outside smoke. I go outside, you cannot find you all. They say, no, we have been around here. We only at the most also go to the disabled toilet along the walkway. I cannot explain. I cannot explain.
Okay,
So,
Alwin, go on. Oh, sorry.
yeah, so I cannot explain what happened. So the only thing in my mind is, okay, I still have to work. Okay, I still got to come back. Warranty period is 1 year. Yeah, so then on top of that, there's still also, all the new statues coming in, need to change the theme and all those kind of thing. So it's like, never mind, just pretend nothing happened, just maybe we don't know lah. But after that incident, there are also a few other things that happen, in which, to me, is I find that you cannot rationalize it too well. So I always tell myself, it's like, when I felt some times where, you have this kind of weird cramps, like something cold catch your calf,
Okay.
something cold catch your thigh, something cold catch your back. Then that muscle on that spot down there that you felt like gonna caught cramp. So that is the thing. And then for me, again, first thing comes to my mind is, okay, you still got to work here. Today, sure, I'm not over exhausted. I never drink enough 100 plus, muscle cramp. No choice. You got to, try and don't scare yourself. If I say at that point in time, I say got hantu. Next day, go back office, I'll tell my boss, hey, I'm not coming back again.
I love this story. I can hear it the second time, and I'm still amused by this story.
So everyone in the chat is quite sure that they know what happened to you, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is saying it's the 鬼遮眼. Okay, so your ghost cover your eyes, right? That's why someone was asking, did the workers see you running past?
No,
You
they
couldn't see them.
didn't see
They also
me.
never saw you.
They didn't see me. They thought I went straight out. After they said that they heard me coming down. They didn't see me come to the area. But they heard the back door open, and someone went out.
Wow. So could it be that all the times we see the door opening and closing and we thought it was a ghost, it's actually parallel universe of someone else actually walking out the door. They didn't even see us there.
It's Alwin lah. Every time
It's no Silent Hill.
Imagine it's a Alwin, right? So like actually in Mark Shippo's office, there was someone there trying to type, help me, where are you? Right? But
Correct.
to him, it's just a ghost typing. Then the person got so angry, he shake the cupboard, and then the notice board dropped. And Alwin thought it was a ghost, and the
This
other
is
side
freaking Interstellar, no?
Interstellar, yeah, it's like Interstellar.
Wow, So nowadays, okay, you have to be careful. Whenever you see spooky things, must feel sympathy. It could be someone else gonna haunted
Mm.
worse than you.
Yeah. Maybe it's
Think
not a
of
ghost. Somebody
Alwin.
needs help. Yeah.
Yeah, think of Alwin and just shout, "Do you need help?
Yeah.
Do you need help?
I
At
guess.
blur. Hashtag at blur."
There's some more comments I want to read out. Or we got a comment from Clark says, "Are you drinking whiskey? What are you drinking, guys?" Today I baller. Today I drinking wine.
Wow, wine. Wow, what's Alwin drinking?
Wow.
What's Alwin drinking?
Wow.
Wow.
I
Wow,
like
okay.
it. Yeah. Hey, why confession time never bring whiskey? We need to have a
paiseh.
re-recording. What you
Can,
drinking?
I say I drinking exotic fruit tea. Sorry.
Alamak. Such a fruitcake like you. Okay. Comments from the community. You
Alright.
Tiao Vlogs was at chalet, took a nap. When friends went out, heard a voice calling me. I went down thinking it's one of my friends. I came back, walked down, and nobody there. I run back and hide under the blanket. You all think the blanket protection, no? Just cause the ghost can't see you. You can't see the ghost, means ghost can't see you. Lisa Marie Scarring says, if someone wears red and commits suicide, usually will be back for revenge or as an angry spirit. Because there is this story.
Someone else was asking, about the origin of the lady in red. So that was her answer.
Yeah. There's in the Madame Tussauds, based on the previous confession that even Alvin was talking about by Sito, who was working at the Madame Tussauds Museum, and also many other people that came forth to say, yes, they can see the woman in red over there. Whether the woman in red really died from then got buried, come back, or it's just someone in red, we don't know the origin story. Tic Tac Toe says, all the wax figures have something residing in them. This reminds me of a story about Changi or Tekong, where somebody's Encik once said that all the trees are full. So I was wondering if
interesting.
I'm wondering if that's the same for Madame Tussauds as well, where all the wax figures something in it.
This links to an earlier comment where several of you guys were comparing this story to the House of Wax, the film.
Oh, the Paris Hilton one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's quite a terrifying movie. A, because the wax statues are spooky, and B, because Paris Hilton. So for many reasons. But yes, right. So in those cases, they literally had someone residing inside them. Okay. Yeah, but I think here in Asia, no need to be so complex. No need to have serial killer oil, right? I think any effigy, whether it's a doll, a paper effigy, a wax figure, right? If you for some reason have a desire to make such a shape, you are inviting inhabitation, right? Because I mean, they're restless, right? They're looking for a place to hang out. That's perfect. You have provided them with that. So anything that has a recognizable human form, be ready for it to be inhabited. For sure, right? I want to know what special rituals they do at a place like the Wax Museum. You bring something like that to Singapore, you better take extra care.
I
I
got some. Okay, I don't have news for you for the Wax Museum. I got someone working at some part of Sentosa that also has figures there, and they have done some rituals. I'll share that with you later on.
Interesting.
For now, I think there's a bit of annoyance going on with people saying there's a lot of ads coming in. I don't know why there's ads. I've done nothing different from today than before. Usually the ads are never on live. It's usually after live. So this could be a YouTube thing. I'm not sure how to turn it off, guys.
Oh no.
Really don't know.
YouTube getting more aggressive. Oh no.
Yeah, trying to push people into buying premium.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, Karina says Wet Figware at Fort Canning also gives a very strong, creepy vibe. And Night Owl says people who work night shift should be paid twice the salary of day worker. Sign me up, please.
Cannot lah. They cannot pay you lah. They are paying the ghost lah.
But the ghost different currency, leh.
Oh, that's true. That one. But the denomination bigger leh. So someone says, Gabriel Tan say action figure also got ghosts. Oh my god, imagine all my Lego sets. But it's okay, because Lego, they got their own house. So I don't care. You go and haunt your own Lego house. But yeah, haunted Barbie dolls. We've heard stories of that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
We've definitely heard stories of those things. I think action figure a bit harder lah. I think those collectibles maybe too expensive. The ghosts don't dare to go in.
I had one. Where is it? Someone gave it to me. Esther Tan from Ang Mo Kio. Also a fan of Supernatural Confessions. gave me a collectible figurine. She said
Mm.
her colleague don't want it because it's haunted. Pass it to her. She felt it was haunted, so she passed it to me, and I used that. Alvin's not listening, right? Okay, I used that. I put to Alvin's house. Then he says it's haunted. I got it back. I put it my parents' house. They say it's haunted. So I think legit that's haunted. But for the life of me, I do not know where the doll is now. I do not know where.
Eugene is the easiest person to get gifts for because I can just take anything and go, hey, I think it's haunted. Nah. And then he'll be so happy. And on that note, please be informed that tomorrow, in fact, in an hour's time, it will be Eugene's birthday. So everyone out there, please wish him happy birthday.
Thank you,
Okay. Shall we
guys.
sing him a birthday song,
Oh
everybody?
no.
Come, Alwin, join me. Alwin.
Okay.
Come. Okay, you lead. I join your key. Okay, and everyone, wherever you are, sing along because you know Eugene can feel your vibes.
You know there's a lag, right? So if he sings, he's gonna be like a half a second behind.
Never mind.
Okay.
Follow what you can. All right, you
Okay.
take it away, Alwin. I join you.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday to
to you.
you. Happy
Happy birthday
birthday
to
to
Oh, so scary, yeah,
Eugene.
that.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
Ooh, thank you,
you.
everybody. Thank you so much. I'll try to keep it hush hush. It's not even on Facebook, you know. Yeah.
It's okay. It's only on Friday Night Live.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Woo. Okay.
Hi. So we have a couple more. Oh, thank you, Frankie. We have
Yeah.
a couple more confessions, but do we want to bring out?
Yeah. We have a double. Maybe this is your birthday gift. Okay.
Wow.
Awin, is this the birthday treat?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Come tell us about the birthday treat.
Well, I'm going to get my missus to share some of her office ghost stories.
Ooh, let's
Yeah.
welcome her.
Okay. One,
Yay. Share screen. So exciting.
share screen.
Ooh,
Wait,
ooh, ooh.
let her grab a chair.
Thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes. The whole
Mm,
screen is just scrolling up. Thank you so much,
yeah.
everyone.
Oh, okay, everyone. This is Joey. Hello, Joey.
Hello.
Hey. Hey, alamak.
Did you sing along with us or not when we sang Happy Birthday to him?
Yes, I heard.
All right. Wow, thank you, Choi Elaine, for that lovely birthday gift for
Thank you.
Eugene.
Thank you.
Wow, there's
Happy
a lot
birthday,
of
Eugene.
Thank you, Joey.
yay. Come, give us some birthday ghost stories. Come.
Birthday ghost stories. Okay. So I wanted to add on to Elwin's story about
Mm.
the Wax Museum
Oh,
because there was this day that he had to, as he mentioned just now, he had to go back to the Wax Museum to do some work past, late. So
okay.
there was one day I was with him, we had dinner together. So he said, I gotta head back to the Wax Museum to get some
Mm.
work done. But it's gonna take like maximum 10 minutes.
Okay.
You come with me lah, but you can sit in the car. I said I don't want to go inside because I'm scared. So
Very
so I
wise.
sat I sat in the car.
Mm.
And he actually parked behind the museum.
Mm.
And it was dark. It was pitch black. There was nobody. I'm not really pitch black. There were like street lights lah, but you know how dim the street lights are
Mm.
at 10 p.m. at night in Sentosa. Nobody was silent. He went into the museum. I sat in the car. I was playing on my phone, and I think after 10 minutes, I started texting him,
Mm.
calling him, asking him, Is he done? Is he done? Are you done? Are you done?
Right.
I think we need to get out of here soon."
Oh.
Because all I felt during that 10 minutes, even though I was um I was actually looking at my phone, I was not even thinking about anything. All I could feel were eyes on me.
Oh.
Yeah, it just felt like, the entire area outside the car
Mm.
is crowded. It felt crowded. There
Yeah.
was nobody there, like no physical human being around. But it felt crowded, and it felt like there were eyes, like lots of eyes on me, just looking at me. Yeah, so I was really scared. And Yeah, so I hurried him lah, but he was taking his time lah. So
The man has to
it was
work, man. He's
I
so
I don't know
focused on
if
his
he
work.
had to work or he was enjoying his time with the hantus inside lah. Maybe the sexy wax figures inside.
Even
With
if
the
there's a
lady,
sexy ghost that come by, Alvin will go, no, ignore, pretend never see.
with the lady in
Hard to
red.
say, hard to say, hard to
Mm.
say. You know, maybe look at Paris Hilton, he might go ahead.
Donnie Darwin is saying, isn't sitting alone in the car more scary?
It I don't know because I I was thinking that it might be scarier for him, Elwin, because he was inside the
Alone.
museum with all the the
But
figures lah.
turns out they
Turns
all
out,
came outside to scare you instead.
yes, I think so. I
So
think
he
they all
was,
came out and stood around the car and stared at me.
yeah.
They all
Because
see him every day already. Then
they're
you
like, who is this
newcomer.
newcomer? Why she don't come in? Ooh, 带你的老婆进来嘞。Oh.
All the hums up ghosts.
All the hums up ghosts.
Oh no.
It's all the
Wow.
male ones that came out lah.
Yeah,
The females
yeah.
ones are still inside.
That is so spooky. I would have run out of that car and go inside look. Oh no, but then Scully cannot find him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Again,
Oh.
you know, it's like I don't even it didn't even cross my mind that to run into the museum
Mm,
because then if he was, I don't know which part of the museum he would be at,
that's true. That's
right?
true.
And then I would probably have to run past, I don't know what, to get
Just
to
drive
him.
away and go. You take a grab. Ah.
He took the keys. He
Oh
very smart. He took the
no!
keys.
Wow, Alwin.
I didn't have to see.
Okay, so 2 rules that we learn from horror movies. Number 1, don't separate. Number 2, hang on to the keys.
Shashkazek says, never split the party.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right.
If someone has to keep the key, let it be the one that's near the car. Okay, you car here, key there, cannot. Okay, that's a bad ending to the movie.
But I really think that maybe when he was inside, all the I don't know lah, the others inside were staring at him, following him, whereas the ones outside, you know how haunted Sentosa is, right?
Yeah.
The outside ones were staring at me, so they're like, oh my god, like yang qi lai le, you know the yang qi is here, the young energy is here.
Yeah.
So we're all like,
Wow.
I'm gonna just focus on you guys now.
I mean, Sentosa
Dumbasses.
is that kind of place, right? Where, because there's so much activity during the daytime, right? So you can imagine that all the spirits will sort of more or less steer clear, lah, right? When the
Yeah.
tourists come and all that. And then as soon as the tourists go, boom, it's like filling a vacuum, all
Yep.
come back. Yeah, so try not to be around at that time. Wow, okay. Do you have other workplace type stories to share with us?
I do, but it wasn't my experience this time. It was more of colleagues who told me. But I would believe them now because these are things that they wouldn't make up. So in my first job, I was with a nightlife company. I won't mention the name because it's
Ooh.
quite big. They are still around. They manage quite a few bars in Singapore still. So they have some bars around Orchard area.
Okay.
Right? There's colonial houses. Okay, so you get it. Yeah. So these were told to me by my customers, actually, my regular customers there. They actually, drunken nights, drinking, they don't really think about it. They actually have seen a young Ang Mo girl running in the bar. Like, how the bars are usually quite straight.
Yeah.
You just come in the entrance and all the way straight.
Mm.
They saw a young Ang Mo girl just running across in.
Oh.
Yeah, and she looks like, she was from a different era. She doesn't look like she is from the current times. She's dressed in olden clothes, like Victorian kind of time.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but because they are all a bit high, buzzy. So they don't take note. They're just thinking, oh, maybe one of the families here expat, because a lot of Ang Mohs go there, Caucasians go there for drinks, right? So maybe someone brought their kid along, and then the kid just ran in to use toilet or something lah. So they didn't think about it until they told the story to some of our staff, or like shared the story with some of the other customers, and then they said that, oh, actually that girl is not a person lah. It's not a human being lah. She's actually she actually belongs to a full Caucasian family who actually they actually do appear to some of the customers at times.
Right.
And they will stand at the staircase and stare at them. That the same. The
Oh,
family will stand at the staircase and look at the customers.
but the daughter will go clubbing. Ah.
The cus-
She younger, right?
yes, the daughter will go
Mm.
running around among them lah. But the family will
Wow.
just stand at the staircase and stare. So it's a
Mm.
family affair lah for them, and it is almost a nightly thing. Is whether you heng sui see them or not.
How long ago was this?
This was more than 10 years ago,
Are the bars still
and
operational?
yes, it is still operational. It's still at the same
Oh,
spot, same place,
all
and
right.
I think just a couple of years, maybe just before COVID, I
Mm,
got in touch with a couple of colleagues from there,
mm.
ex-colleagues lah, and then they told me that, oh, it's the feeling is still there. They are still there. They still see them. So
Wow.
yeah,
So next time SC gathering, we know where to go lah. Which bar you guys know.
Yeah.
don't get too drunk though.
Mm.
Then you don't know whether they are real or not.
Yeah.
Sekali got
Wow.
some fancy dress party going on. Then you all think
Ah.
this guy slept for no reason.
Okay, wait. We definitely want to hear more stories, but just for one moment, let's point out that Mark Shippo is with us, and he is ending his birthday in an hour's time, just as Eugene's is beginning. So happy
Wow.
birthday, Mark, as well. Thank you for your confession. I hope
Yeah.
I hope Lily doesn't get you.
Yeah, you gotta go listen to it later. I'm gonna replay the video.
Okay, yeah, back to you, Joey. Come, tell us.
Sure. Okay, so another story is, so in the same company, this company, this nightlife company that I work for is a canopy company. So they run a few nightlife outlets lah. So one of the outlets that they run is a club.
Mm.
Again, don't want to mention name, but they were used to be huge at Muhammad Sultan.
Okay.
Huge
Okay.
spot, huge place, lots of crowds on weekends.
Double
Roughly
O.
which region? Which region?
Somebody said something already.
Okay. No
Yeah,
names,
so
just postal code enough.
yes, because if I say
Okay.
the name of the bar is the club is defunct already.
Okay,
But
right.
if I say the club name, I think the whole entire company, everybody will know who it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So but it was a very popular club.
Mm.
Back then Muhammad Sultan, and then after their tenure at Muhammad Sultan, they moved
Mm.
over to Queen Street, Bras
Mm.
Basah.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay, so at that point, the Laoban, the big boss lah, he's not he's actually a Caucasian American man, very nice American man, but because he does not believe in prayers, he
Mm.
didn't bless the place before they moved in. So all the local staff were telling him, "Oh, you should really do some prayers because
Mm.
it's an empty spot for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what resides there lah. It's just
Mm.
a gesture of respect,
Yeah. Mm.
So he didn't believe in it. He said, "No, it's okay." And at that point of time, the new location was based in it was literally within a church.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. So he thought it's based in a church, what? No problem, right?
Desecrated
Holy
already.
ground already. Yeah, exactly. So no problem, So okay, fine. They went ahead. They set up. They went ahead and they started operations, and then all the funny stuff started happening. The
Mm.
first thing was my DJs
Mm-hmm.
actually told me themselves, like they pulled me aside and they told me, Joey, uh something strange happened the night before. So I said, what happened? I said, oh, okay. So usually before they start the night, 1-2 hours before, the DJs will come in, they will go and test their the DJ equipment and everything. So
Mm.
this includes the smoke machine that is just behind them, like just here,
Okay.
All right. So
Mm.
the smoke machine, he said, you need to plug it in to a socket and press a button. It's manual. There's no remote control, nothing. To activate the smoke machine. So they were playing around with the equipment, and then out
Mm.
of nowhere, he said suddenly the smoke machine activated.
Oh.
Yeah. Then they were all curious, lah, like, what's going on? How come maybe somebody plugged it in, somebody accidentally pressed the button or something. So they went to check the button. Nobody pressed it. Then they checked the plug. When they checked the plug, I tell you, they nearly wanted to run out of the club. The plug wasn't even plugged in, lah.
Wow.
Yeah. But the smoke machine went off. How? I don't know. I said, how?
Mm.
Maybe is it something like automated or something? No, don't have. They kept telling me, don't have, don't have, don't have.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was one story. Scary. Yeah. The second
Oh.
one was caught on CCTV. Actually I saw it
Oh.
lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell.
Oh, you saw it.
So we
Did you
all
see
saw
the
it the
scene?
next day. We didn't see the
Wow.
actual thing. We
You saw
saw
the
the
footage. You saw the
footage of
footage.
it lah, which is also
Wow.
very scary lah. Because
Mm,
basically the club, it's one level. So right at the end of it, right, where we there's an exit lah. There's an exit door.
mm,
The door is those very heavy exit doors. You know the kind where you had to push,
mm.
and then you had to push very hard before you can exit the
Yeah.
place, and it's almost airtight.
Mm,
So I know because I've tried to push open many times, and
mm,
I know how heavy the door is.
mm.
So that CCTV one fine day was like maybe 4 a.m. in the morning. That
Mm-hmm.
was after everybody has left the club. All the
Right.
staff have gone home. The next morning, the next day, we saw the CCTV at about 4 plus a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Out of nowhere, the CCTV that was pointing at that exit door showed the door opening on its own and from inside.
Oh.
Yeah, from inside. It's not even from outside. It from inside, something opened the door and then it opened for a while before it closed back, which is
Hmm.
which is 100% impossible.
Was something going out or was something coming in?
Yeah, no idea.
Mm.
We were saying that it might be going out lah.
You hope so, huh?
Hope so.
You hope.
We hope lah.
Okay.
We hope it was going out.
Okay, I have a confession to make. I am very, very familiar with that building because
Mm.
that was my primary school. And the club, ground floor,
Oh,
right? Ground
yeah.
floor facing the road, right? That was
Yes.
the teacher's staff room in my own
Okay.
in my day. And
Okay.
right next to it, the next room on the ground floor, after
Uh-huh.
the stairwell, was
Mm.
actually an undertaker.
Oh, you've got to be
It was the actual
okay.
undertaker connected to the church.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. So people would come to the church for the service, but the undertaker will be just next door. So that's the ground floor that you're talking about. And we had
Wow.
always heard stories when we were there. There were many floors that were haunted. The fourth floor, the school hall, the ground floor, of course.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yes, that's the building that the boss didn't want to bless, huh?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
new news to me. I worked there for like almost 2 years and I didn't know. I've been
Mm,
in
mm.
and out of the club, right? I don't even know. Just party, get drunk. So I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like get drunk so I don't see. If I see also, I think it's nothing like. Ah,
Yeah.
you know.
So the stories actually go back a very long way.
So
Very
there's
long way.
there's there's something there's
Yes.
some background to it one lah. Okay.
Yeah. So just because it's shares the same car park as the church, doesn't mean it is as
Yeah.
safe as the church. I don't think so. I
I
think the
just
car I think the church is consecrated. I don't think the car park is, and I don't think the building next door is, because we were schoolboys there and I think we were very unholy lah. So yeah. I won't mention what school either, just in case.
can Google.
Yeah, so many clues already. I think it's very obvious what
I
it is
think can Google.
lah. We are very good at keeping secrecy, but
Mm.
revealing everything else.
Every-
It's called plausible deniability. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, you all can keep guessing what school. I'm not gonna tell you.
Someone can Google it. Google it. Go find out. Find out. Before the club was there, what was that?
Mm.
What
But
school?
that building is still there. It's still there
Mm.
now, and it's still occupied by quite a few different tenants. There are
Mm.
cafes, and there's I think a mountaineering hiking shop was there
Yeah,
also.
correct.
Yeah, and
Yes.
now there's a gym where the Undertaker was. Is a gym now.
Wow.
So there's a fun gym to join.
The ghosts, the hantus there are very fit.
Last time Undertaker, now Under Armour. Wow. Okay. So we should go and explore leh. We can explore. Eugene,
I
you
think
can go explore.
Yeah.
actually that area, that stretch, right? There's
Mm.
quite a lot of
Yeah.
Stories from
Correct.
that area.
It's a very old area. Very, very old
Yeah.
area. It used to be a red
Yeah.
light district.
Oh,
Used to be a red light district. Yeah. So
well, you know a lot.
because okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about why I know a lot. So apart from the fact that I grew up around there, right? My school, but also because I've written a play about that place, 2 plays about that
Oh,
place.
Mm.
Yeah, about the whole region. So I've done a lot of research and collected a lot of stories. So it's a
nice.
very good place to go. Very good place. Wow, see a lot
Wow.
of connections tonight. Pew, 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 pew,
Nice.
pew.
Wow. Not
These
bad,
are
not
all
bad, not
very
bad.
new info for me. I've not heard about all this. Even from John, I've not heard about John in that school as well.
Yeah, you don't know
There
my
you
you don't
go.
know my past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Got
Any
some more
other,
stories or
yeah,
not,
any other
Joey?
stories, Joey?
Have
Ooh.
but not really work related lah. If you want to hear,
Okay,
I
never
don't know
mind.
what you
Never mind.
want to hear
We'll
lah.
save you save your confession for when I see you and I record the confession for
A
another.
lot
But
Can.
we should do one episode on clubs and bars.
Ah,
A lot, you
Yeah, I
know.
think that should be one episode.
I
Okay,
have.
Yeah.
I think I have enough in my archive for one to two
yeah,
good ones. As a Stevenson is
yeah.
actually one of our listeners last time.
Mm.
I think he was pretty much on the Facebook group sharing stories. So Stevenson is a Lao Jiao DJ.
Okay. We
And he
need. Yeah,
shares
these are the
stories
stories
about,
we want.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so DJ stories next time. Club stories coming
Mm.
soon as well. But for now, thank you so much, Joey.
Thank you.
I mean, people say that you got a very lovely voice.
Oh, thank
You
you.
got the DJ voice lah.
Actually, people have told me that before. They've asked me to go and
Yeah.
try out, but they don't want me in MediaCorp.
Hey, John, then why don't we let her and Alvin read the next confession?
Oh, yeah. Shall we?
Which one shall we go for this one?
Okay. We've got two more confessions actually. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. This one is Uncle Pua story. Okay.
Uncle
This one is for
Pua.
Alvin. This one's for Alvin. Let Alvin do this one. Then Joey, if you can stay with us, you read the last confession lah.
Okay, can.
Nice.
Okay, I let Elwin
Okay.
take over.
Okay, let me take over. Okay, Alvin, you ready?
Welcome back. Okay.
Hi.
Come. Tell us about this story.
Okay, so this is called work ethics. Oh, let me see. This I need to adjust his video. He got,
Oh no,
his
you are
face
lopsided.
His face got cut off. Ta-da! Wait. Okay, Alvin. Now you're too big. Okay, wait. That's not what she said. Okay.
Okay, here we are. All right.
So the next confession is called Work Ethics from Beyond. This one is confession from Alvin. Not Alvin the Cruz, not Alvin as well, but another Alvin who works in building management. And this one is a bit special because I personally went down to the building myself and I seen the spots where they say Uncle Pua was walking around. To be fair, when I was there for that few, I guess, less than an hour, I of course did not see it and record anything lah. Though I was wishing for it, but this was a confession given to me by him, and he got this story from the team that he managed. So Alvin, lend us your voice for this story, please.
Okay. All right. One thing that Singapore is good at is giving old buildings a new lease of life every decade or two. What many of you may not know is that most times only the facade gets a makeover. The parts where the public sees gets a makeover. The back rooms, the maintenance room, those still look very much like they did in the 70s. The company I work for handles the contracts for building management, and my job is to upkeep the building operations to make sure that things work the way they are supposed to. The building I'm in charge of has a ghost that we believe to be the spirit of the maintenance uncle, Uncle Pua, who passed away many years ago. Since his passing, the maintenance guys that took over his role have complained that their items going missing, their tools toppled over the floor, and even mysterious bruises. As time went by, the maintenance team realized that the way to prevent things from getting disrupted is to leave the tools and items in specific places. The senior staff immediately saw the pattern, and they had already suspected that the place was haunted by the ghost of Uncle Pua, but no one wanted to say it out loud. Stories like this can't remain a secret very long, and eventually the rumors got to me, so naturally I had to investigate. What I gathered when I spoke to the team was that they believed the ghost was hunting the maintenance room, was the ghost of the staff who had passed away. Point to note, Uncle Pua did not die on site. He passed away at home peacefully from heart failure. The telltale signs that once the room was reverted to its previous configuration, the poltergeist activities would stop. Then there other strange occurrences too. There were instances where the aircon wouldn't function or the fire alarm would just keep tripping. When in doubt, the maintenance guy would call upon the spirit of Uncle Pua to help, and just like that, the unknown problem would be resolved. To, to thank Uncle Pua for his help, the team erected a makeshift altar outside the maintenance room to offer him beer, cigarettes, and incense. The last time The last I heard, my company might not win the bid for the renewal of the building maintenance contract. So I didn't know what it would be like after we are gone. Good luck to the new team. Maybe Uncle Paul will give them so much hell they'll call us back and take over. Next time, got time, I'll tell you about the other buildings in town. All of them have stories.
Oh,
Wow.
all the buildings are full. All right, man. Okay, three cheers for Uncle Pua. Okay, his work ethic I have to admire.
Work
I
ethics
have
from
to admire.
beyond this one. Someone was asking, got CPF or not? got burn Kim
Hmm.
Chua, CPF Kim Chua for him.
No, I'm really moved that they set up an altar for him,
Mm,
and they made him feel welcome. Made him, I think that's a really wonderful thing.
mm.
You know, um, does anyone harbor the suspicion that is not Uncle Pua?
Yeah. I
Eugene, what do you think?
I don't think it's Uncle Pua. I don't think so.
Tell
But
us.
again, this story and the first story seem to have that connection where the
Mm,
spirits mimic
yeah.
the behavior of the
Mm,
living, or in this
yeah.
case, Uncle Pua, the deceased.
Mm,
Why I don't think it's Uncle Pua?
mm,
Uncle Pua didn't die there. Uncle Pua, and I asked
yeah.
this question. I said, "So how did he die? Was it under like mysterious circumstances?" I think, "No lah, he
Mm,
peaceful lah. He retired.
yeah.
He died like
Yeah.
okay, well, retired, died. Why not hunt something else? Why not go and he likes
Mm,
fishing. Why not go and hunt the boat? Why this place, right?"
mm,
So could it be that when we are at work,
mm,
uh, again, we can go to the fringe level and talk about our consciousness has created another doppelganger, a different version of us in a different parallel timeline. Or if we are in the realm of the supernatural, could these spirits living around us mimic our behavior, follow our behavior, because it's the closest thing to living life? And then when we are gone, it kind of take over that spot, albeit in another realm. Similar to how our
mm,
pets, our dogs, our cats, sometimes they look at us, and if you're hopping around, dogs tend to like emulate their masters as well.
yeah. Mm,
So I'm thinking more towards this side of that story. I don't have all the dots for you because this is um, a realm that we don't have the firm details. But I would like to believe
mm,
that every building has hantu, every building has the penunggu, the
mm,
guardians,
yeah.
and these are not necessarily bad spirits.
Mm,
These are spirits who have taken a liking to the living and therefore emulated the living. It could even, I believe, at some point, even protected Uncle Pua from any
yeah.
accidents. You know, maybe something was about to happen, the spirit will protect Uncle Pua because the spirit has taken liking to Uncle Pua. So when Uncle Pua died and he left and it created a vacuum, the spirit then becomes or feels responsible for Uncle Pua. And so when you move things around, it doesn't like change. It start moving things back.
Mm,
And so when they put the altar outside and give the prayer, the spirit obviously takes it upon itself. Like, thank you so much.
mm,
I accept your prayer. But I don't think it's Uncle Pua. That's my sense. But I feel that as human nature goes, it
mm,
is easier to attribute the supernatural that is amongst us as someone that we once knew and loved, than to accept
mm.
that this could be a jinn.
I
Yeah.
was waiting. I was waiting for the magic word to come.
I was avoiding
Every
it.
every episode this season. Okay.
I was trying to avoid that word,
I
man.
think it must be the gin is your new thing. Okay. I do agree quite a lot with what you're saying, right? But I don't think I'm certain it's not Uncle Pua in my mind, but I think that the relationship to Uncle Pua comes from, I think, just habit, right? I'm assuming Uncle Pua has been there a long time,
Mm, mm,
right? So
yeah.
if this spirit is in that in that building, then he would have had an affinity. He would have observed Uncle Pua the longest, right? And I think his work ethic, Uncle Pua's work ethic, of looking after things and fixing the problems, is the most similar to what the spirit is trying to do also. Uncle Pua was the living penunggu of this place, and so for the spirit to say, hey, I like this guy, he looks after this place, I will use his habits as the SOP, right? And I will continue in that pattern. Or in fact, maybe he's the one, this spirit, that taught Uncle Pua what to do. So when you say that the spirit wants things in certain positions and all that, right? Maybe Uncle Pua learned those positions from the spirit.
On a subconscious level, why does Uncle Pua want to put the hammer there? Uncle Pua believes that's what he wants.
Oh,
but
no,
actually...
no. Even more than that, simpler than that. It could be that Uncle Pua too was haunted by this thing and figured it out.
Oh.
When Uncle Pua came and said, oh, I arranged my things this way, boom, they all shift back. And Uncle Pua goes, okay, there's someone else who already set the rules. I will just follow. So Uncle Pua just carried on the tradition, right? Because I say this because it happened in my again Beach Road camp in my army office when my new commanding officer came in, right? The first thing he did on the first day was get two of my guys to shift the table. He wanted to face a different direction. Then he took them to the canteen to buy them a drink. He came back, the table had shifted back on its own. And he knew straight away, okay, this is not really my office. I don't have that kind of influence here. So I'm just gonna keep quiet and borrow the office. So I think with old buildings, old companies, there can be a equally old spirit.
Yeah.
That's looking after it. Yes, it could be a jinn. It could be any number of things, right? Yeah, and then of course for the human side, it's always less frightening if we give it a familiar face.
Yeah.
Right. So calling it Uncle Pua, keeps everyone happy, and I think the spirit doesn't mind. Is someone is a identity that he's quite willing to accept. Right. Yeah. So it's a very happy story. I feel it's a very peaceful story. Until the next company screws up. And
I like the last part, it's like,
yeah.
I think we're going to lose our contract already, because, another company's going to take over. Yeah, good luck to them, okay? I think they don't know. We won't share this information with them. I love this. I love that. There's a hantu element, there's a human element to it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It's a good way to help you maintain your contracts. Okay. hint, Alwin.
I think they might even pie to the thing, it says, poppy, like if you give whoever come in next, you chase them away, we will give you chicken, give you...
Since they already set up the altar, I think confirm already. I got contract already.
Yeah. Lose the human
altar,
contract, never mind, I got a spiritual contract.
An altar is a contract, man. Yeah, it's a contract. So I think that's a very, very good story. I like this story a lot.
But I have another idea.
Come share.
Okay, it's a little bit how to say, science and maybe also supernatural.
Okay.
Okay, it could be because Uncle Pua has been down there for a very long time. Okay, so by doing certain things and all that, we leave behind certain things they call residual energies. So the supernatural part will come in a sense that it might not be Uncle Pua coming back, but because of the residual energy, there might be certain what they call fragmented spirits. Okay, so the Chinese belief got three souls and don't know how many 三魂七魄, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So there could be fragmented spirits who are attracted by this residual energy, and then they combine together and become this whole spirit, that this so-called Uncle Pua lah. So because the thing is, the logic, if you were to say that he passed away peacefully at home, so why is he still appearing down there? So could it be his residual energy is down there so strong that all the fragmented spirits combine and then created another Uncle Pua, but because taking his template.
Interesting.
So that is what I thought about.
Wow. Okay, that's a very challenging idea. This idea of fragmentary spirits, right? And then they can sort of collect and become a new consciousness, or and then they just pick a pattern to follow lah. Right? Yeah.
Actually, I heard that this is a Chinese belief, right? Even Taoists, I think you got your fragments in heaven, fragments on earth, and uh in hell, or something to that extent. That's why when you
Mm.
pray to your ancestors, they can still hear you because that's the
Yeah.
earth fragment.
Yeah. Mm.
But I never knew them to have consciousness to that level where it can
Mm.
become.
And that's where the science comes in, right? So
Mm.
that's where the para hantu comes in,
Yes,
right? You
correct.
know, what is the science of hantu, right? You know, beyond the stories, is there a certain sort of consciousness that we have not yet understood, you know, that can influence us, right? That can, I mean, clearly there's a very strong thread today about consciousness because they are deliberately picking which colleague and which behaviors to mimic and all that, you know. So there is a pattern. There's even a need to do this, right? So we're
Mm.
talking about intelligent beings, very intelligent beings with agendas,
Mm.
right? You know, and in fact, in the next story also there will be evidence of that as well, because clearly they're doing things for a specific reason, you know, disguising themselves for some reason, you know. So wow, okay, there's a huge conspiracy under here. Okay,
Wow, I like it. I like it. I
very
think the stories
exciting.
are getting exciting. Shall we go to shall we go to the next one, John?
Yes, come. Okay, last confession of
Will
the night.
Will Joey be lending her DJ voice to this one?
You want her to take the part that I'm supposed to handle?
She can take the whole thing lah.
Do all lah.
Do all lah.
DJ Joey.
DJ Joey in the house. Pa, 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 pa.
Do all.
When you do this.
We sabo you with the longest one, Joey. Okay. Meanwhile, while Joey's getting ready, okay, there have been so many comments, lots of mini stories here.
Yeah.
Uh, if you have an exciting story that you just remembered, please get in touch with Eugene. Okay, share it with us, because now that this season we're starting to collect stories in themes, right? It's very exciting because they all sort of influence each other, and I'm sure some of these popular themes like office and all that, there will certainly be part two. Right. So if today's topic triggers other memories, don't just share in the chat, but also send a message to Eugene. Maybe it'll become an extra confession that we can talk about next time. Yeah. So let's keep all the good stuff. All right. And by the way, someone in there, I won't say who, has guessed my school. Okay. I just won't say, but it's out there. Someone's got it right.
Oh,
I
what
think
a
I know which. I think I know who got it right.
Don't give clue. Don't give clue.
imagine.
Later you go and scroll. You go and scroll and find for yourself. Okay.
Got
No
three schools.
comments.
Three schools. They said.
Shh.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So,
Come.
I just want to read one more from Darwin first. He texted a very long one, and I think he shared something. By the time we finish this confession, I think this is scroll out quite far lah. So I just read it now.
Okay. All right.
Regarding old buildings, my sister works in Brunei, and her company provides for Brunei Shell. In her office, which rumored to be the site where Japanese soldiers did massacre in World War II, has lots of
Okay.
children spirits and can be very mischievous. They can close workers' eyes, hide things, and when it's just in front. When angry, they can even throw office things. My sis would have a bowl of candies on a table, like offering, which her ang moh boss would take and eat when he goes past on that side.
Sure, kena haunted.
I love it.
Her
Oh,
boss
this is
is
a good one.
what I tell you. What?
There's a lot of local versus ang moh today. This is quite a threat to it.
That too is a trend lah.
Yeah,
Ang Moh bosses and what happens to them.
Ah.
I mean, okay, so I mean, I mean, very quickly, right? You know, with Donnie Darwin's story, right? I mean, it's a very strong impulse for us in Southeast Asia to connect ghost stories with the Japanese occupation, right? Because that is the greatest sort of stressor that we've had, lah. Right? It's the biggest one, right? You know, and there was, of course, a high sort of body count. But at the same time, you know, we must always keep our minds a little bit more open, right? Because the easiest solution may not be the correct one, you know. And when it comes to children's spirits, right, they are much more common than we think. You don't need a Japanese history or detention camp to explain why there are child spirits here.
True.
You know, right? We Asians do believe that child spirits are probably one of the most large populations of spirits, because children generally don't accept death and don't understand what's happened to them, and they have a tendency to linger. You know, and then because of and their behavior is mischievous, it is mimicking, but it's also very petty, very emotional. So a lot of what we associate with hauntings is actually the behavior of children, right? They want attention, right? And they will do anything to get your attention, and then they can turn against you if their mood is
Mm.
bad. So there's a lot of possibility that a large proportion of Southeast Asian hauntings are because of children,
The living one
right?
also give problem. The dead one also give problem. Wow, these
Correct.
kids.
The pattern don't change, right? Imagine being a child forever. I mean, that's that's quite stressful
Yeah.
and quite annoying. They're just dying to grow up. Oh my God. Yeah. Right? And
Peter
they
Pan,
can't.
Peter Pan situation. They can't do
Yeah.
anything about it.
Correct. This is the dark side of the Peter Pan situation. Where
Yeah.
50
Claudia,
years later, you're still Peter Pan, like
Claudia from what Interview with the Vampire?
Interview the vampire.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mm.
exactly. That
Yes.
that is so well written because it captures that frustration, right?
Yeah.
I'm sick of being
That
a child.
rage, that
Stop treating
frustration.
me like this. I am powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yep.
also kind of connected to what people think poltergeists are also, right? It
Mhm.
is a child. It's a spirit struggling between childhood and adulthood, right? That's why poltergeists often are connected with teenagers,
Mm.
because it's that frustration, right? It's that, why don't you give me the respect that I
Yeah.
Yep.
want? Why is the world not the way I want to see it?
Mhm.
And then and then boom, everything fly. So there's a lot here. I think we should do one episode about child spirits. you know
Do I have that? Okay, I'll go to
I'm
dig into my
I,
archive.
for sure got one. For sure got one.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think I think you guys have like the next 5 shows.
Okay, but meanwhile, thank you for the story, Donny. Okay, so we have DJ Joey with
Yeah.
us.
So
All right.
yeah, I forgot to say this today. I third one to do.
Ah,
Okay, but since the last confession, before
ah,
we go to the last confession, I want to bring to your attention there is
mm,
actually a Patreon account that we have created up, and
mm,
we have spoken to I think 30 of you who have joined the focus group and given
mm,
us your feedback. Very very good feedback. I've taken on most of them, if not all. I think some of them, the one or two isolated ones, we just can't do it that way. But I think you might like what you see in Patreon. I'm not asking you to go and click to do anything with it now. It's never an obligation. You watching us live, you clicking like, you giving us your donations from time to time is good enough. But if you do want to get a little bit more, because we want to give you value for your time, you have been investing your time with us, and we want to give you a bit more. So if you go to Patreon, there are perks. You can unlock different
mm,
stuff for yourself that give you cooler things. If you want to go on Discord, you want to actually hang out, or we have even collector's item, or if you're really keen on looking at behind the scenes stuff, that what happens behind the scenes, how do we do things, what are the stuff that don't get uh, out there on the public. This is the time for you to get to know us better and get in the thick of action. So go to
mm.
patreon.com. That's
REON.
patreon.com/supernatural confessions and be our patron. Okay. Um, let's go to Not on the Payroll by DJ Joey. Confession submitted by Imagine Malians.
Woo.
He rushed this out for us last night.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. So this story took place about 10 years ago when I was doing an internship in a science lab back in my university days. As it was the summer break, there were a good number of students who chose to intern at this company. The department lab I was in had 4 to 5 of us student interns during this period. Since we were all around the same age, we got along quite well with each other. We would go for lunch together, tell each other silly jokes, prank one another, and even have random sing-alongs in the intern room. Just what you would expect a bunch of kindred spirits to be like when we were together. Now, to give a bit of setting to the story, the building that the labs were in was planned out in a way that a central corridor ran across the length of the building floor. And on one side of the corridor were the labs, and the other side was the office area. The office area was very open, no cubicle walls, no pillars. Even the wall that divided the corridor and office area was all glass. So essentially, you could look from any point in the office area into the corridor. The toilets were at the end of this central corridor. They were designed in such a way that both male and female toilet doors were opposite of each other, with the sink immediately behind each door. If both doors were open at the same time, you would be able to quickly glimpse into the sink area of the other toilet before the spring mechanism closes the door again. Both toilets would exit into this small walkway that is separated from the main central corridor by another door, which I will refer to as a common toilet door. So this one day, I was done using the toilet and was washing my hands at the sink. The door behind me opens and someone enters the male toilet. I look up into the mirror to see if it was a friend. It wasn't. But I also noticed in the background what looked like my friend exiting the female toilet. I wanted to catch up with her, so I called out her name and quickly rushed out without drying my hands. But as I stepped into the small walkway, I noticed that strangely, the common toilet door was fully closed. My friend was that quick, huh? So I rushed out into the main corridor to find her, thinking that since our lab was at the other end of the building, I would definitely be able to catch up with her. But as I got out into the corridor, not a single soul was in sight. Weird, I thought. Did she run her way back to the office or lab? I made my way back into the office and saw my friend sitting at her seat. And I went up to her and asked her, "Wow, did you run back or what? So fast?" And she looked at me with a face of confusion. I asked her if she was just at the toilet, and she said she has not left her seat for the past half hour. Our other friends confirmed it too. So who was it that I saw exit the toilet but then seemingly disappeared into thin air after? Was it someone with hair as long and a complexion as fair as my friend's? Maybe it was indeed someone who left really quick and ducked into one of the storerooms nearby before I managed to dash out. She would have to sprint very fast though, and I would have at least seen a door close along the way. But there was nothing like that. Oh well, let's not dwell too much into it. A few weeks passed by and I've quickly forgotten about the incident. By now, both the Chinese Hungry Ghost Festival and the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan had begun. I was in one of the smaller rooms in the lab with two other colleagues. Jane was to my right in the corner of the room, and Hazel was towards my back. We were all doing our own experiments, trying to finish up the work before the day was done, when I started to hear a lady's voice humming, coming from my right. It was an unusual tune, slow, calming, and melodic, but I couldn't identify the song it was from. It oddly felt reminiscent of one of those old 50s, 60s Chinese songs I would hear on my dad's radio when he listened to Capital 95.8 FM. Another reason why this felt odd was that Jane, a fellow intern, was a rather posh girl. She's from a very well to do family, studied in a top university in London, and she was very well mannered and always presented herself with decorum and poise. When we would be engaged in our tomfoolery, she would be on the sidelines laughing at us but never joining in. When we would be having our own mini concerts, she was in the audience seats and never joining in with the singing. I've always thought she didn't join in because she couldn't sing and didn't want to make a fool of herself. But hearing her hum such a pleasant tune now, she's actually a hidden songbird. By now the humming had lasted for about 10-15 seconds before it stopped. I turned to Jane and kindly complimented her on her nice musical voice. Jane returned a look of confusion. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, you were just humming, right? That was a nice tune. It seems you can hold a tune and sing well. You should join us in our singing sessions. But Jane looked even more confused and replied, I wasn't making any sounds at all. I wasn't humming. I didn't believe her. I knew I had just heard humming coming from my right side. Who else could it be? Maybe this is her trying to prank me instead? But Jane was adamant that it wasn't her. So I turned to Hazel behind me and asked if she heard Jane humming too. Hazel said that she didn't hear anyone humming or singing and that it was all quiet until I broke the silence when I randomly told Jane that she's got a nice voice. It then dawned upon us that it was the seventh month and that maybe neither of us were pranking each other. Maybe there was someone else in the room with us. We shrugged it off so as to not scare ourselves. Okay, it wasn't until a few days later when another friend, Shah, got wind of our strange incident. He then shared that he had a strange encounter of his own. Shah was doing his final year project in the lab, and one of his experiments required him to stay back late almost every day. However, as he was fasting for the month of Ramadan, he needed to go home on time to break fast with his family. So he decided to start his day super early instead at 5 a.m. to make up for the lost time. That fateful day, he had just arrived at the office, the lights were all turned off as usual, and the office and corridor was dark, save for the dim lights from the exit signs. He didn't want to turn on the office light since he would be spending his time in the lab and there wouldn't be anyone in the office for another 2 hours. Just as he was unpacking his bag after reaching his desk, from the corner of his eye, he saw a lady walk past quickly along the corridor. Strange. There's usually no one at this hour. Has Judy arrived already? The lights are all still turned off though. Judy is usually the first person to reach every day, and she's the one who would turn on all the lights. He thought something was amiss, so he went out and searched all the labs and rooms to find the lady who walked by. There was no one around. Who could that lady be? It's not a security guard since they do not have access into the labs, nor would they have any reason to come in. I asked Shah to give a description of the lady. He said that she had long flowing hair, was dressed in white. She went past very quickly, like she was running, but not actually running, more like she was gliding by. I then asked him how could he be so sure of what he saw, since he mentioned that the lights were all off. He thought about it, then said that although it was dark, she strangely seemed to be lit by her own glow, so he could see her fairly clearly. It was then we realized the three stories could be related with each other. Twice, a lady with long flowing hair, traveling quickly but then disappearing without a trace. And one time, a disembodied lady's voice humming an unusual, but no one else but me heard it clear as day. That's probably the song, Eugene. Is there a long is there a long-haired lady who roams the halls of our lab? Or maybe the neighboring buildings too? I've shared this story with other colleagues over the years, and one of them shared a story of her own that bore strange similarities. She was in a different company, two buildings down from my internship lab. She was to go overseas for a business trip, but had forgotten something in the office, so she dropped in on her way to the airport at around 4 a.m. to pick it up. When she got there, at the other end of the office, she saw a lady she didn't know walking through the office. She had a distinctive feature, long flowing hair. Maybe it was someone working the graveyard shift. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was the hantu. Honestly, it wouldn't be far fetched if you know the history of the place. The grounds that our buildings were built on used to be an old British camp in World War II, and I was told that just about 20 odd years ago, there was a prison or detention center with female inmates next to where the building now stands.
Dun,
Mm.
dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you, DJ Joey.
What a
You're
voice.
welcome.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay, just now the singing not so, but the okay, wow.
It
Okay,
sounds
okay.
like a great advertisement for shampoo. Long flowing hair, and then, but it was so dark you can't see her. But she has a radiant
Mm,
her,
glow.
it's glowing, yeah.
her own glow, okay,
Yeah,
her
her own
own
glow.
glow.
Wow.
I would love to know what face mask she used.
Wow. Okay. I must. Okay. Can I point out? Right. Again, it's a very exciting kind of connection, right? So even here, right, with Imagine Malayan who's there, right? It's so tempting to make the connection with the history of the building, right? And then say, there was the detention center and blah blah blah. So is this possibly connected to that, the spirits of inmates who used to be here, or is there someone else? I think there's quite a popular entity that is already being suggested by the relationship, both the long hair, the white dress, and the singing, right?
Mhm.
Which hantu loves to sing so much. So okay, Eugene, you want to kick us off?
Well, I'm thinking that Pontianak is the definite one that falls into this archetype
Mm,
of humming or singing at night when you hear
mm.
some voices, and of course the long hair, white gown.
But no smell, no smell.
This one different.
Yeah, she got no smell. Yeah. So what's the Chinese version of a Pontian? I don't know. You know? Uh I don't know. I mean, I first of all, the critical question for me is, are they connected? Right? So imagine Malayans is thinking that they're connected.
Yeah,
I can possibly see that there are three totally different things as well. You know?
Mm.
I want them to
Because
be connected.
Of course we do lah, okay? Because human beings, we always want logic, right?
Yeah.
It's easier to make sense out of a pattern than
Mm.
Yeah.
random things. But I think that sometimes gets us confused when we're trying to understand what's really happening, right? And actually the same thing could have applied to quite a few of the confessions tonight. Like for example with Uncle Pua, right? The tools being misplaced and other things being solved, they could all be individual things. Maybe there's a whole team of different spirits doing different things, then they all gonna lump together into one Uncle Pua. Maybe, right? But in this
Yeah.
case, one was such a fleeting glimpse, but then the last one was such a much more elaborate, very good, very well captured, right? Can see clearly, can see that she's gliding, right? And then of course the singing one is I feel like a totally different entity leh.
Why?
The one that appears
Mhm.
and disappears is not known for singing. The singing one is a whole different thing. To
Maybe
me, that
just that
sounds like,
one day she decided to sing only lah. She's not like every time she appears she must sing song.
okay, let me rephrase the
我
question.
来了 Then must got song when she appear one.
Let me rephrase the question,
Ah.
Eugene. Are you saying that you would rather there only be one ghost than multiple ghosts?
Correct. If I know my house is haunted, at least be haunted by one ghost and not like 3 or 4. Then walao.
That's your house lah, but here confession lah. I rather think that this confession reveals 3 different hauntings. Exciting for us, right?
Yeah.
We conflate together, then boring. Every ghost, every house one hantu. No lah. Okay, I believe that there's room for more.
What did Elvin say?
There's
What
room for more.
fragment? Is it soul fragment? It could be
Fragment.
Fragments.
fragmentized hantu.
I mean, if you think about those, people with the eye, right?
Mm.
Always remind us that there's a lot more of them than there are of us. Right.
Yep.
So I think it's good to remember proportion wise. Here's a whole office full of people and you think one little hantu. Excuse me, can I sing a bit? Right? No lah, please. They got morning shift, day shift, night shift.
Can I cut in here for
Yeah,
a bit?
go
Yes,
ahead.
please, yeah.
Okay, so talking about like multiple
Ah,
entities in one spot, right? So I'm currently working somewhere in the east. Ulu spot lah. Okay, I don't want to mention it because it's quite an established place lah, huh? But so the story is there are chick ponds in our location.
Okay. Ooh.
People have seen them.
Mm.
Them.
Them, okay.
Them. And they exist in various parts of the establishment. So
They
there
got
are
territories, is it? They got territories.
I don't know about territories lah, but the one that there's one that is at the I would say I'll just mention it's the far end of the establishment. That one exists, has been there for the longest time, and that one apparently is very strong because people who pass by that area, they immediately smell the smell of
okay.
frangipani and then shit smell and other kind of thing lah. So they smell all sorts of stuff, and they have seen her. So then the ones in the bath, the toilets, the one that you have a couple in different toilets on the establishment. They appear to certain people.
Okay.
Yeah, but the presence is very strong. So even if like for someone like me, I can't see, fortunately. But I'm very sensitive. So when I go into somewhere that has that is not clean, I would say lah, I feel it immediately. So
okay.
and I can sometimes, if it's strong enough, I can feel what the entity looks like also. Like if it's a female or male.
Right.
So I felt these entities in certain parts of the establishment that I'm working in, and it's very obvious, like almost a visual image of them whenever I feel them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I believe that, like John, I believe that there are various entities, like there are a lot of them, and they can all just be at different points in a company or establishment or whatever it is, a home.
I like the idea that there's a hierarchy also, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like any company lah, right? There are the lao chiaos who've been here a long time. Then there's the intern one, and maybe the intern is not allowed to appear. You just sing. You don't show yourself. Don't show yourself. Okay, just sing. Then the intern gets to come early. I mean, it's kind of like what's that series? What they do in the shadows, right? You know, you got like
Uh,
vampires
oh,
from
yeah, yeah,
across
yeah.
the ages. Then they got to have their own hierarchy. You know, got office politics. All, you know, I feel that there's a lot of similarities lah between their community and our community. Right, you
Mm,
know, it's very romantic to say one house, one ghost, one house, one ghost. But I
yeah,
think that's literature and the movies sort of, giving us that. But I think in Asia, come on, Eugene, you know this, right? It's a lot more chapalang than that,
Yeah,
lah.
yeah.
Right? So how many ghosts? How many are even not ghosts? How many are jinn? How many are whatever? How many races are there? So so Imagine Malayan was just pointing out, right? That singing was during 7 months,
mm,
but then the others were not. So that
mm.
could have been anyone just passing by the office only for 1 month of the year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Not
Oh,
even
it's just that,
resident.
yeah.
Yeah, visitor
You know,
only.
I've always want, yeah.
Or just to remind you, it could have been also something that came with that co-worker alone. Something following her. It's nothing to do with your
Possibly.
office, right? So you don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I've
Yes,
always
Eugene.
wondered, right? Like
Mm.
whether it's like around me right now or when
Ah.
the hantu. Because we always say that when we tell ghost stories, the hantus are
Mm.
around us,
I believe that.
right? Can you
I believe
imagine
that.
this guy beside me right now, like, hearing me trying to dissect, so confident. Then he beside me go, "Lan jiao lah." I kind of feel that way.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe Uncle Pua is there right now. Right. You say me what? you know?
Yeah.
So you never know. You never know. I think the joy of Singapore is that there are so many overlapping
Mm.
sort of cultures and spiritualities that, any haunting can go in so many different directions.
Yeah.
Right. So in this case, although Miss P seems to be the most obvious suspect, right? But yeah, there are clues that it might not be her, right? There's no distinctive smell. There are various other things. Also, there's no
Oh,
particular. I mean, Miss P in an office is a bit weird.
Yeah.
I do think
She's
she
not
likes
in
to
build
be
up area.
closer to the
build up
outdoors.
here.
Yeah, usually lah,
Yeah,
right? So
modern Miss P lah, next generation.
then she just hang on to the potted plant, just near the potted plant, But yeah, it's interesting to think about what other sort of modern alternatives there are, the urban spirits that have come up, And I'm just keen. Okay, I want to know. Imagine Malayan, what culture that song came from? Was it a Chinese type song? Could it have been a Malay folk song or something else? Or was it a Western song? That might give us a clue to the spirit,
I think he
right?
mentioned it was a 50s, 60s Chinese song.
Chinese,
Wang
okay.
If I
bu
remember.
liao,
So probably that
wang
kind,
bu
yeah. Maybe.
liao.
Okay, exactly like this, okay.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Imagine Malayan say, I don't think it's Miss P, to be honest. She didn't look like the typical unkempt look. So the one that you saw coming out of the toilet, right? Looked quite well dressed and I mean dressed for work lah. Dressed for work. So unless Miss P has also given herself a makeover, right? To fit into this
That's why she was coming out the toilet, right? She just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
went to do put
She
the
went
makeup.
in as Miss P, come out as your colleague.
I want to do this. I want to have this advertisement for this product. This would be such a great ad. Oh my goodness.
SKP.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, guys.
Giving you that inner glow.
Yeah. Okay, so it's really past midnight. Yeah, let's wrap things up, guys.
Okay, wait, but before wrapping up, I must comment on so I don't know, I imagine Lions, I must comment on Shah, the colleague of yours who spotted the 4 a.m. No, the early morning ghost, right? If I saw someone through the glass that was glowing on her own with long hair and clearly gliding, I will not think maybe it's a colleague. Okay.
Yeah.
I will be breaking the window and jumping out of the building already. Okay? So Shah must be super calm and rational, and maybe he's very good at applying Alwin's philosophy, right? Like, for my sanity, I must work here. Must be a colleague. Okay. Wow, today was fun.
Nice, today one very good special episode.
Come, shall we get the couple back on screen?
Bring Alvin back.
Come. Squeeze.
Bring your back.
Squeeze for us. Just now there was a comment I wanted to read out, but best confessor couple ever.
Yeah.
Wow, win.
Wow.
Okay, big round of applause.
Okay, you need to have a closer, because I got one big gap between you all. More alamak, power lah.
Intimate. Okay.
Aiyo.
Today was fun.
Okay.
So what we usually do to wrap up is we want to have everyone has a catchphrase lah, right? Or a tagline or a motto. So think about that while Eugene does his final spiel.
Okay, my final spiel is as part of my birthday return to you guys. I would recommend 4D tomorrow. I can't remember. Is it 1544 or 1455? I think
1455.
1455. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm buying 1455 tomorrow. Okay. So you go and buy your Paypal. Congratulations. Make some donations to us. Patreon is still open. Patreon.com/supernatural confessions. That's patreon.com/supernatural confessions. Go take a look. Otherwise, you can also make donations to us on YouTube or buy us a coffee. Thank you very much. I think there's a lot of generosity today. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Come back again next Friday. And also, if you or your friends or anyone you know have a hantu story, please reach out to us at supernaturalconfessions.com. That's really why we exist. The day stories stop coming in, it's the day we close shop, pangkang. Okay? And have our Fridays back. Maybe I can go eat prata, go meet John for makan. Yeah?
So make sure the prata doesn't happen, okay, guys? Keep the confessions coming. All right. Keep us amused. Okay. Wow, shock today.
So I wrote something new for my ending statement today. This one. Hold on.
Okay.
Not
you want to go first? Come, you go first.
Oh, I go last, is it? I go last.
Okay, you go last. We let our guests go first.
Okay.
Okay, come. Ending statements from the confessor couple.
Alwin, go first.
I neither confirm nor deny got hantu or not.
That's a CIA thing to do.
Very good. Come, DJ Joey.
I'm on Eugene Tay's side lah. It is always the hantu.
Wow. That's even more Eugene than Eugene. Eugene also not always the hantu. Sometimes he will stray on.
You see, I'm on Eugene Tay's. I'm on this ET side. Alwin is on the other ET side.
Yes.
Good. Okay, I want to say, if you get freaked out in the office, just do it quietly. The hantu are working.
Speaking of the other ET will be back on with us as our guest on the 15th of April. Next Friday, we have Mel, who was once upon a time a police woman and has a lot to confess. So she's coming next week to tell you her story as well. Now, before we say goodbye, and once again, thank you very much for joining us on Supernatural Confessions Friday Night Live. We have Alvin. Give it up for Alvin, Joey, Jonathan, and all you guys out there watching us tonight. I see the number of concurrent viewers. It's not deep below 200, even though it's past midnight. So thank you again for joining us tonight. It's been a wonderful episode. I love it. My parting words to you is this. The world is like a giant join the dots activity book, but without numbers. Our reality is made up by how we choose to join these dots. Each of us believing ourselves to be right, and none more dangerous to you or me than the ones who are stubborn, arrogant, and super rational.
Nonsense, you.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
See you guys.
What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.